Hello, Clearview family and friends. Thank you for joining me today. I want to invite you to get you a cup of coffee or a glass of iced coffee, such as I have here. And if you would, get your Bibles and turn to Revelation chapter 2. We're going to be talking today about names, the significance of those names, and the significance of who gave us those names. Many times, the names we have find their significance in the person who named us or called us that. Many of you may know that your mother gave you your name, or your father gave you your name, or that your mother or father had a special name or a nickname for you, and it finds its significance in who named you that. I had an uncle who knew that the name Curly D got under my skin, and when we would play basketball or football and my hair got wet, it would curl up, and because I disliked that, he would call me Curly D. And just to get under my skin, hey Curly D this, hey Curly D that. And so that name found its significance in who named me that. The Bible is full of names, starting in the book of Genesis all the way through to the end, and many of them are very significant names. One of the first men we see, Abraham, his name was originally Abram, and he was 99 years old, and God calls him to a new home and tells him that he's going to have children, and he's a 99-year-old man past the age of bearing children, and his wife was barren and couldn't bear children. But he changed his name from Abram, which meant father, to Abraham, which meant father of many, and God made good on that promise. He also changed Abraham's wife's name to Sarah, meaning princess. We see other men in the Bible whose names were changed based on who they were and what God expected of them. Jacob's name meant surplanter, not a name he was very proud of, but after he had spent time with an angel of God, God changed his name to Israel, a very significant Bible name. Then we get to the New Testament and we see Peter. Peter's name was originally Simon, which meant stone or little rock. But Jesus changed his name to Peter, or in the Greek, Petra, which is stone, rock, or a boulder, like a founding stone. And it was very significant in his life and in his position. Saul, we see in the book of Acts, later his name was changed to Paul, and he wore that name very proudly. In Acts chapter 4, there's a man whose name I think is Joseph, and he has a name that is changed because he gave money to the church and was a blessing to so many people's life, they started calling him Barnabas, which in their language meant encourager or son of encouragement. And so it was a very beautiful name because the church gave him the name of encourager. Wouldn't that be a wonderful name to have today for your Christian friends to call you their encourager? When I was in college, I had a lawyer friend, and he gave me the name Nimrod from Genesis chapter 10, and it was a name that I felt blessed to have because Nimrod was a mighty warrior, and he gave me that name because I love bow hunting, and bow hunting is how I partially fed my family at that time. And so I wore the name Nimrod. I would come to school and he would yell across campus, "Hey Nimrod!" And so I was proud to have that name. There's another name that I'm going to wear that God is going to give me that I'll be very proud of. We read about it in Revelation chapter 2 and verse 17. I'm reading out of the NIV translation. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To him who overcomes, I will give of the hidden manna. I will also give him a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to him who receives it. Listen to it in the Message translation. Are your ears awake? Listen. Listen to the wind words, the Spirit blowing through the churches. I'll give the sacred manna to every conqueror. I will also give a clear, smooth stone inscribed with your new name, your secret new name. And that gives way to the question, what will your new name be? And I would like for you to think about, what would you like God to call you? What would be a complimentary term for God to use to speak of you? And are you working to earn that name? All of us in heaven will have new names, and they will be perfect names for us because they are God-given names. I've been to many banquets, etc., where they would have your name tag sitting on the table, and you would look for your name tag, and that's where you would see it. Well, in heaven, you have a stone with your secret new name given to you by God. I would like for you to think about what you would like that name to be. Write that down and work toward that. Let it be a blessing in your life to consider that God is going to give you a new name, a secret name in heaven that's just for you. That's a beautiful thought because it's going to come from God and it's going to represent who you are and what He wants to call you. Thank you for joining me today, and I invite you back next week.